Hello, hello, and welcome to part 0 of what is going to be my Fallout playthrough. Now, some of you might recall, who follow the channel, that a little while ago I recently made public a ancient video of mine from when I was first considering doing YouTube of me trying to play through Fallout 1. And I was surprised by the significantly large amount of views that terrible video did. And it has made me decide that with the new open slot that has been created by Unpacking Ending, that we're going to play through Fallout 1. But this time around, I've had a fun little idea, in that we're going to open up with this episode 0. You see, Fallout 1 was a old-style RPG that came out on computers in '97. And old computer games in the 90s expected you to do something before you even played the game, usually while you were installing the game. And that something was to read the instruction manual. Now, this may seem dumb at first, but this manual is written from an in-universe perspective and actually contains a lot of lore that you would not get otherwise. And so I think it would be worth it to have this little special episode 0 recorded right now in order to just look through the book for some of this. So as you can see immediately, the instruction manual is formatted to look like a Vault Dweller's survival guide. Books that Vault-Tec would have given out to people to help them know what to do in the apocalypse. Now, for those who don't know what Fallout is, it is a post-apocalyptic role-playing game. So world experienced nuclear apocalypse and you are a vault dweller, meaning somebody who lived in a government-built bunker, leaving the vault on a special mission in order to save your people. But that will be explained in greater detail as we read on. So, let's do just that. Yeah. Issued by the Vault-Tec Documentation Department on January of 2077. Notice, this document contains information affecting the national defense of the United States within the meaning of new amended Espionage Act 50 U.S.C. 31 and 32. Its transmission or revelation of its contents in any manner to unauthorized personnel is prohibited by law. So, our character would be given this big old book. Now, we're not going to read every page front to back. We're more so looking for the in-universe tidbits of information. And right here we have the classic artistic depiction of what a vault looks like that we see throughout the entire series. And I want them to... I hope in future games they start paying closer attention to this artwork here. Because it feels like we've never really gotten a vault that felt like this, except for maybe Fallout 1, which is the one we're going to be playing. But Fallout 1 only gives you 3 floors of this. If we look at this is a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 floors if you count the reactor area down here. And in Fallout 1, you only interact with this base level, a level where people live, and the reactor level. And every other Fallout game doesn't really let you explore a fully built vault. And I'd love to see exactly that fully built vault, General, welcome to Vault 13, the latest in a series of public defense works from Vault-Tec, your contractor of choice when it comes to the best in nuclear shelters. Vault-Tec, America's America's final word in homes. This document, VTB-001, the Vault Dweller Survival Guide, is for the event following... Hold on, I'm adjusting a little bit. Events following a worldwide nuclear war. In the case of limited-scale nuclear war or other ending catastrophes, please refer to the appropriate documentation. I'll see pages 1 through 8. End of the world documents. So this is L1, a large-scale nuclear war. They also have limited scale, Vault Dweller's Survival Guide, abridged version. A national disease, VTD1, coping with Mr. Virus, which This is never going to be mentioned here because it's something that came into later games. There was, in fact, a major plague ravaging America in the year 2077. Starvation. VTR-003, How to Eat Rat. Flooding. VTF-100, Flotation Homes and Seaweed. Meteor, VTM, 020B, How to Dodge Falling Rocks. Document not available at this time. Will be available in the third quarter of 2078. Don't let what could have happened bother you. We have enough problems to deal with in here now. The Overseer. And this is another bit of what I meant of these fun, in-universe, fashion. A note put in by whoever gave us this book. Again, I 100% like to believe that our character has this book in their inventory when we're playing the game. The Vault series of survival shelters are designed from the ground up to provide the best chance of for a good life following nuclear Armageddon. It is the duty of every American citizen to learn and use the skills necessary for a comfortable vault life. The best place to start is with the description of your new home. So, Vault number 13, starting construction date August of 2063, ended in March of 2069. Starting budget of, oh god, hold on, that's $400 billion, but in the end, came out to $645 billion. Total number of occupants is 1,000 at capacity. Total duration is 10 years at capacity. And number of living quarters is 100. Hot bunking required if at maximum capacity. So, let's go down now. Door thickness is 4 yards of steel. God, this is actually interesting lore that I didn't know because I've never read this book front to back. Earth coverage is a lot of soil, buried 200 feet underground. Computer control system is a think machine. That's interesting. I don't know if think machines get mentioned anywhere else in the series. A think machine computer. Huh. Primary power supply is geothermal. Again, that's interesting, because in a lot of other Fallout games, we see nuclear generators in play in some of these. Some vaults using geothermal energy would make sense, especially if they're in a more actively volcanic region. Secondary power, General Atomics nuclear power backup system. Requires a fuck ton of electricity per day and has stored complete construction equipment, agricultural farms, water purification from underground river, defense weaponry to equip 10 men. Wow, 10 men and that's it? Communication, social and entertainment fields for total duration. Nuclear blast effects. Vault 13 is designed to provide protection from the effects of a nuclear blast. To better understand the protection provided, we have included a section from the High Energy Weapons FAQ that explains how nuclear blasts cause damage. The first thing bomb victims experience is the intense flux of photons from the blast, which release 70 to 80% of the bomb's energy. The effects go up to third-degree thermal burns and are not a pretty sight. Initial deaths are due to this effect. The next phenomenon is the supersonic blast front. You see, it is for you see it before you hear it. The pressure front has the effect of blowing away anything in its path. After the front comes to an overpressure phase, it would feel like being underwater a few hundred meters. At a few thousand meters under sea, pressurized hulls implode. The pressure gradually dies off, and there's a negative overpressure phase with the reversed blast wind. This reversal is due to the air rushing back to fill the void left by the explosion. So you have a boom out and then a suck in. That's terrifying. The air gradually returns to normal atmospheric pressure. At this stage, fires caused by electrical destruction and ignited debris turn the place into a firestorm. Then comes the middle term effect, such as keloid formation and retinoblastoma. Genetic or hereditary... Excuse me. Genetic or hereditary damage can appear up to 40 years after the initial irradiation. Atmospheric effects of the blast. The mushroom cloud. The heat from the fusion and fission instantaneously raises the surrounding air to 10 million degrees Celsius. This superheated air plasma gives off so much light that it looks brighter than the sun, and is visible hundreds of kilometers away. The resulting fireball quickly expands. It is made up of hot air and hence rises at the rate of a few hundred meters per second. After a minute or so, the fireball has risen to a few kilometers and has cooled off to the extent that it no longer radiates. The surrounding cooling air exerts some drag on the rising air and slows down the outer edge of the cloud. This the unimpeded inner portion rises a bit quicker to the outer edge. A vacuum effect occurs when the outer portion occupies the vacuum left by the higher inner portion. The result is a smoke ring. The inner material gradually expands out into a mushroom cloud due to the convection, and if the explosion is on the ground, dirt and radioactive debris gets sucked up into the system, which sits below the fireball. So, it's a fun fact is that it's not just nuclear bombs that cause mushroom clouds. Any large enough explosion can cause this, and in fact, ancient Romans experienced mushroom clouds. They had maybe it was ancient Greeks. I think it was the ancient Greeks, my bad. They had created powerful explosives that were basically a primitive version of napalm, and they would set off these massive explosives in sea battles on enemy ships, and it would cause mushroom clouds. Collision and ionization of the cloud particles result in lightning bolts flickering to the ground. Initially, the cloud is orange-red due to the chemical reaction when the air is heated. Then the cloud cools to air temperature, the water vapor starts to condense, and the cloud turns from red to white. In the final stages, the cloud can get about 100 kilometers across and 40 kilometers high for the megaton class explosion. If you see a flash, duck and cover! Fun fact, the duck and cover project, the US government kind of knew that didn't work. They understood that if a nuclear bomb went off, people would just fucking die. But duck and cover was a way to make people feel comfortable. They lied to the masses to make them feel more okay with the threat that was ensuing. Electromagnetic Pulse, EMP. A nuclear explosion gives off radiation at all wavelengths of light. Some is in the radio radar portion of the spectrum. The EMP effect. The EMP effect increases the higher you go in the atmosphere. Higher altitude explosions can knock out electronics by inducing a current surge in closed circuit metallic objects, electronics, power lines, phone lines, TVs, radios, etc. The damage range can be over 1,000 kilometers. And this is a large part of why there's so little working technology in the Fallout world, a thing a lot of people overlook when they discuss the series. Also, sorry if you can hear dog barks, my roommate's got a new puppy. Overview of the immediate effects. The three categories of immediate effects are blast, thermal radiation, heat, and prominent ionizing or nuclear radiation. Sorry, the dog outside's barking like crazy. I'm just a cute puppy. The relative importance varies with the yield of the bomb. At low yield, all three can be significant sources of injury, with an explosive yield of about 2.5 kilotons. Sorry. You guys can't hear the barks? Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Mai Tai's just the sweetest fucking puppy in the world, but she's still being trained. The three effects are roughly equal. All are capable of inflicting fatal injuries at a range of 1 kilometer. Excuse me. So now we're right here. Sorry, running up and down the stairs and stuff in winter, not good for my asthma. The fractions of the bomb's yield emitted as thermal radiation blast and ionizing radiation is essentially consistent for all yields. But the way the different forms of energy interact with the air and target are vary dramatically. Air is essentially transparent to thermal radiation. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Again, sweet little pup Mai Tai just losing their fucking mind in the other room. Where were we? Yeah. Air is essentially transparent to thermal radiation. The thermal radiation effect... hang on. Moving one thing. Sorry, hang on. That's probably loud. I'm adjusting the thing that blocks background sound that I have. It's just a cardboard box with stuff in it. Air is essentially transparent to thermal radiation. The thermal radiation effects exposed to the surface, producing damage by rapid heating. A bomb that is 100 times larger can produce equal thermal radiation intensities over areas 100 times larger. The area of an imaginary sphere centered on the explosion increases with the square of the radius. Thus, the destruction radius increases with the square root of the yield. This is the familiar inverse square law of electromagnetic radiation. Actually, the rate of increase is somewhat less, partially due to the fact that larger bombs emit heat more slowly, which reduces the damage produced by each caloric of heat. It is important to note that the area subject to damage by thermal radiation increases almost linearly with the yield. Where did I put my glasses down? I feel like I'd be reading better if I had my glasses. My glasses! Where are my glasses? I can't see without my glasses. Well, I guess I'll just be blind then. So I don't know where I left my glasses. I don't know where they are. How the fuck did I take my glasses off last night? Well, I guess I'll just be blind. Blast effect is a volume effect. The blast wave deposits energy in the material it passes through, including air. When the blast wave passes through solid material, the energy left behind causes damage. When it passes through air, it simply grows weaker. The more matter the energy travels through, the smaller the effect. The amount of matter increases with the volume of the imaginary sphere centered on the explosion. Blast effects, thus, scale with inverse cube, blah blah blah. The intensity of the nuclear radiation decreases with the inverse square law. So, they actually just put in a full breakdown of how the fuck nuclear bombs work here. Delay effect, radioactive contamination. Ooh, let's skip down to here, because we don't need all this math. Hey, Tyrant King. Look at this math. This is for nerds. So radioactive contamination. The chief delayed effect is the creation of a huge amount of radioactive material with long lifetimes, half-lives ranging from days to millennia. The primary source of I'll be right back. The puppy's all nervous again. Oh, we're reading the Fallout 1 manual in preparation for the Fallout 1 playthrough. Let me go to comfort the puppy, though. Okay, sorry. I'm back. Like I said, new puppy. Achieved a life, half-life from days to millennium. Right here. The primary source of these products is the debris left from fission reactions. A potentially significant secondary source is the neutron captured by the non-radioactive isotopes, both within the bomb and the outside environment. So, this is actually now, we're not going to read all of this. This is them explaining what Fallout is and how nuclear waste spreads, blah blah blah. Ooh, but this part is interesting. My time, relax! How much is the puppy being picked up? Yeah, you can hear the... I'm very sorry, Jesus. She's normally so much more quiet. Of course, it's right when I begin recording that she's just like, make all the noise? Make all the noise, because he's recording. Got it. That's our dog meat. Okay. Sorry again. Where were we? So yeah, additional publications. The VDSG abridged version. Hang on, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Oh, but my cropping is gonna cut off a little bit of the sides. I just need to zoom in so I can read it better. VDSG abridged version. A condensed version of the VDSG containing just important information you need. Oh, these are the things that were mentioned earlier. How to eat rats, flotsam, and how to dodge falling rocks. Alright. Let's zoom back out. Hang on. Why is it? Hang on. Hang on. There we go. So as you guys can sort of see the side, it's because it's not... Oh, whatever. So section 2 is simulations. I like this whole computing system right here. So this is where now we start talking about the actual game a little bit. So, SimTech operations. Oh yeah, Tyrant King and the Discord server's been talking about how they're trying out some more of the Old World Blues mods that have been updated, and they're checking out one called Hellfire. Yeah. The Vault-Tec Research Group has determined that after a long period of security, many Vault dwellers will feel uncomfortable with the idea of returning to the outside world. The SimTech 5000 will provide a safe and reassuring return to life on the outside world. This chapter will give you a brief walkthrough of the operations of the SimTech 5000. A piece of tech that I'd love to see pop up in a Fallout game now that I think about it. Why have they not used the SimTech 5000? This can be used as such a good excuse to throw weird experiences at the player. Experienced Vault Dwellers may want to start with character creation and skip this tutorial chapter. For beginner Vault Dwellers, the tutorial will prepare you. So this is literally, because the game doesn't have a tutorial. You were supposed to read this manual. So this is literally telling you how to start the game. So blah blah blah, tutorial. We're just gonna click through this. This explains how game mechanics work. Some of this I will be going over when I play. Section 3, Vault Personnel. That is terrifying. So, these are the pre-made characters. We'll be reading these in the first episode, so we'll read these 3 people right now. That way, the first episode we can get to the game faster. So, these are the 3 pre-built characters, which I like to believe exist in some degree of canon. So, Max. Stone to his friends. Maxwell is the largest person currently living in the vault. He's known for his physical strength and stamina. He would make an ideal volunteer due to his tremendous size and strength. It is unfortunate that his intelligence was affected after birth, when the labor bot dropped him on his head. He doesn't care what he might have He doesn't care that he might have to leave the vault. Natalia. Natalia is the grandchild of a Russian diplomat who worked as a Soviet consulate in Los Angeles. She is a talented acrobat with excellent coordination and reflexes. She is extremely intelligent and resourceful. Her only difficulty as a young child was understanding personal property laws. Natalia is very interested in leaving the vault and curious to explore the outside world. And lastly is Albert, who I believe, honestly, if there is a canon, if one of these three is the canon protagonist, it's Albert. Every piece of media we see that explores the Vault Dweller later on looks like the Albert. Albert is a charismatic leader of a small, vocal minority of the Vault population that is considering life on the outside world. Dedicated to the role of negotiator, he is often able to communicate efficiently between different parties. His professed occupation is closest to what was once known as lawyer. Albert is often able to convince others that his ideals are correct. Haven't started yet. Oh, just taking a look at how the mod will work. Yeah. And then this is showing how character creation works, blah, blah, blah. Again, we're gonna click through most of... Actually, these full descriptions might be interesting to read. How Fallout 1 described the special stats. So yeah, throughout the Fallout series, they use a system known as Special. Fallout 4 is really where Special stopped getting used to the way it was in the old games. But so we have Strength. Raw physical strength. The ability to lift weights, have stronger punches, carry more equipment, and use large... Oh, I was hoping there'd be sort of a tongue-in-cheek mentality going on here, but it doesn't look like there is. We're not going to read all of these. Oh, but I love this. Again, to help you gauge the value of statistics, we devised a simple system naming each value. Here's the list from worst to best. Very bad, bad, poor, fair, average, good, very good, great, excellent, and heroic. Hope that helps. The Overseer. And like the average game or Fallout 4 starts you at 5 in everything. Or Fallout 1. The words. Then there's the derived statistics, all of this, you know. We're not going to bother reading all of this through front to back. But again, I wanted to give this an acknowledgement and acknowledge some of this wonderful artwork. Glowing objects are to be considered dangerous at all times. If an object has enough luminosity to read light, do not touch. Or to read at night, that's what I meant there. Oh wow, oh no, those are the traits that your character can have. Age. Yeah, age has no gameplay effect. Sex has no gameplay effect. Well, actually, it does have a gameplay effect. Here's the correct path you can get through Hellfire Focus Tree and get the Bone Dancers. Yeah, like I said, I mentioned in the Discord, I may install that mod in the future for a possible future run. Section IV, Instrumentation. When you start Fallout, you can press, blah, blah, blah. In the event of exposure to radiation, you must shower with large amounts of water as soon as possible. Lather, rinse, and repeat. Yeah, how character... Again, this is just sort of giving breakdown of how things work. The interface. Which I've always wondered how much of the interface is visual there is a canon thing in the world. Because your character does in fact have a Pip-Boy, but theirs is of a different model. And it's much thinner. I like to think that like this bar is what sits on top of their Pip-Boy if they turn it at an angle. Moving through this. All of this is tutorial stuff. The kind of stuff that if you haven't played the game, you definitely want to read, because that's just what this era of gaming was like. How inventory works. Proper latrine building is an important outdoor survival skill. Practice this skill as often as possible. Where's my poop mod for Fallout 1? Give me the ability to build latrines and make it so I have to poop regularly. Character creation. Blah. What is this? Oh, the effects of getting different limbs crippled. Yup. And so actually, let me read this. If your eyes are hurt, your perception will be lowered until you heal this wound. Ranged combat will be much more difficult as a result. If one of your arms is hurt, you cannot use two-handed weapons. If both arms are crippled, you cannot use any weapons at all. If one leg is crippled, you find it more difficult to move. Also, will be impossible to run. If both legs are crippled, you will barely be able to move. Running will still be impossible. Out of combat, your character will look like he or she is walking normally, but this is a sham to protect yourself from dangerous predators. Get to a doctor quickly. That's fucking hilarious. The above character card with trademark Vault Man are your character skill. Vault Man? Oh my god, Vault Boy is called Vault Man at this point in time. Vault Boy did not have his proper name. That's wild. Yeah, skill points. Yeah, the Robco Pip-Boy 2000. Let's read this section. To help Vault Dwellers record information, and information is extremely valuable. In fact, it might be the most valuable weapon we have against the end of civilization, so pay attention. Vault-Tec has selected the Robco Industries Robco Pip-Boy 2000 as a personal information processor of choice for its Vault Dwellers. The Robco Pip-Boy 2000, hereafter called the Pip-Boy, is a handy device that you wear on your wrist. It's small, especially by today's standards, and it will store a godly amount of information for you, and using modern super deluxe resolution graphics to boot. Use the button selection to select various functions, blah blah blah. Yeah, so does it actually? I don't think it directly mentions in here that it's wrist mounted, but it would later get confirmed by the original developers before Fallout 3 even came out that it is in fact intended to be a wrist mounted device, if I recall correctly. So like I said, like that's the front screen of the wrist mounted thing, you know? And I like to believe that. Where is it? This, or no. Where, what? I can't find the section I was looking for. I like to believe like all of these sections, like this, the other one, the other bar, are all in some way like screens displayed on the Pip-Boy if you were to put them together. The Pip-Boy 2000. Things to do. The Pip-Boy 2000 can be used to keep track of important dates and events. We reprogrammed your Pip-Boy to keep track of the number of days remaining in the Vault water stores. This note is the only thing you should care about until we are safe and have restored the water processing chip. The note shows the number of days before we croak. If that happens, your adventure on the outside won't be worth a set of thermal underwear in Death Valley at high noon. We'll be dead, and you don't want that. Go to it. And your Pip-Boy has been programmed to properly handle all calendar dates, even after the turn of the century. Your Pip-Boy 2000 has a 3-month limited warranty. So, that is actually... Oh no, wait, 3 months... No, never mind. I thought that was a reference to the game's original end date. I believe the original, at launch, the game lasted for 3 years before it, like, gave you a soft ending. Or hard ending, I mean. Let's see here. Yeah, auto map, blah blah blah, more mechanic explanation, town maps, chatting and dialogue. Yeah, just how all the... Ooh. In the event of fire, do not run. It will force the flames up your head to your head. Stop, drop, and roll. Yeah, just more mechanical know-how of the game. Oh man, that's right, I forgot that's how the save menu looks like in this old game. Yeah, game difficulty, blah blah blah. Conflict resolution. At some point during your adventure, diplomacy or stealth will fail. The last resort will be combat. Combat is defined when you have an attacker attempting to do damage to a defender. It requires 2 or more people to have a combat situation. Combat in Fallout is turn-based. Generally, you will get a chance to act. After you blah blah blah. When it's your turn, blah blah blah. Yeah, this is, just gameplay mechanic, blah 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 stuff. Ooh, this is one of those things that's worth to have on the side. I might actually screenshot this and have a note of it on the side when I'm playing the game proper. The AP cost of things. So, walking is 1 AP per hex. Hand-to-hand attack is 3. Melee weapons start at 4 but can go up. Ranged single hand starts at 5, or single shot starts at 5, goes up. Burst is 6 and goes up. Targeted attacks add 1 AP to whatever the normal cost of an action is. Reloading ammo is 2 AP. Accessing inventory is 4. Opening a door is 3, and using a scenery item is 3. That's good to know. You should puppet in the Cascade area north of Washington. I'd go with. I feel like the Washington Brotherhood is a good pick because a lot of the other things I would think of would probably be dead before you make it there. Yeah, attacking inventory, chance to hit. This is a list of like what types of weapons land in what categories. Ooh, there's an example of combat. That's the fucking weirdly detailed graphics for drawing for what we've been seeing everywhere else. That's how the burst effect tends to work. That's actually good to know. People immediately next to you won't be hit by a burst necessarily. Ooh. Hang on. What does it say about VATS? Targeted shots. Targeted shots are attacks that are aimed at a specific location. I don't think they ever officially call it VATS in this first game. In later games, this system gets called the VATS system. Washington and Oregon's gonna go to the Bone Dancers. Alright. Critical hits and critical failure. So, critical hits could be extra damage, crippling limbs, ignoring the armor of your target, unconsciousness, or knocking the target over. While you critically failing could result in your gun running out of ammo, your gun jamming, losing action points, dropping your weapon may explode, and missing your target and hitting someone else. Effective poison and radiation, armor. Don't let this happen to you. Don't let this happen to you. Proper weapon maintenance will stop over 95% of critical failures. Weapon maintenance was not a mechanic in this first game, though. I think that it would eventually appear in Fallout 3, but all it does is flat decrease how much damage your weapon does. But I would love it if they had like a gun jamming mechanic based off your weapon maintenance level. That would be a really cool detail. Vault 13 comes prepared with the latest in survival equipment. The items in your storage containers will last 1,000 people over 10 years in comfortable modern surroundings. When it is time to leave the vault and return to rebuild America, your friends at Vault-Tec can provide you with everything you need. Yeah, right. Who wrote this? What budget did they get? We already used most of the equipment on failed attempts to contact the outside civilization. And we've been in here a lot longer than 10 years. We have little left to give you, but we'll give you what we can. A reminder, you can only carry an amount of equipment, blah blah blah, how carrying things works. Again, an equipment, oh, hang on. So what is this equipment list? This isn't the starting equipment, is it? Huh, I wonder why it's listing these 4 weapons in particular. Maybe this could be your starting equipment list. Oh, this is the player manual or the manual that comes in the book of Fallout 1. I'm reading through this as a preparation for the Fallout playthrough, episode 0 of sorts, and looking for any fun bits of lore that are in here. Oh, this is a breakdown of every weapon and armor you can find in the game. Seriously? Let's just ignore that. Oh, a breakdown of what your title is as you level up. Skill points. This. We're nearing the end of the book at this point. This is a breakdown of every perk you can get in the game. Ooh, what is this? Oh my god, the Gek gets mentioned in Fallout 1's manual? Hang on, what is... Future Tech, of Division of Vault Tech, presents the following advertisement for your enjoyment. When the all clear sounds on your radio, you don't want to be caught without the Garden of Eden Creation Kit. The kit includes Base Replicator Unit, replicates food and basic items needed for rebuilding a new world. Just add water, powered by cold fusion. Hollow disk reader with library, includes sections from Library of Congress, complete set of encyclopedias, and other life-saving information, all contained on 460 hollow disks, and a miniature pen flashlight. The condensed version is available in 3 handy hollow disks, not suitable for children under age of 3. All different toy available for younger children. A miniature pen flashlight. What you really need to survive the apocalypse. And then appendices, which is just a few other tips from the developers, which are definitely worth looking at. When you start out, remember to equip your character with the best possible equipment as fast as you can. Save often. But this game, it's especially true, because Fallout 1, you can softlock yourself out of getting the good ending. This was old hardcore days of gaming where they're kind of dicks to you. Be nice to people, you know, it's obvious thing, but the game holds consequences if you play as a dick. Punch people in the nose. If you can't get your way, then learn how to force your opinion down their throat with a 10mm if necessary. Time, where this first game was on a time limit. Like, as you played, you had a constantly ticking time limit over your neck to try and save the day. And save. This one, a lot of my other games that I've been playing through, I just have one save that is the save that I use for the playthrough. I think it's 150 days before the vault runs out of water. But, yeah, I'm going to make multiple saves so that if I fuck myself, I can jump backwards in time, which is not a thing I do a lot with my playthroughs. Where do we go from here? Talk to people, explore, and talk to the Overseer. Yeah, this is the game telling you, like, hey, if you are ever completely if you don't know where you're going and you don't know where to go next, 1, talk to people you know. 2, explore to look for new places. And 3, if you're really stuck, go and find the Overseer. He will always give you tips on what to do next. And they recommend you specialize in different classes. Now, I'm going to talk more about my plan of how to level up later, because a lot of the Fallout games, you can just sort of go how you feel it, with some general advice people give you. Fallout 1, there are ways you have to build your character if you don't want to lose the game. It's a not well-designed game. I mean, it's a beautifully designed game, but it's an old-fashioned game, like, where it was considered good gameplay that you could put 60 hours into the game and then be soft-locked because you didn't invest in toaster repair skill. Generalize after about 4 to 5 levels, yeah. So yeah, it's saying, like, early on specialize, later on generalize, use the same feature, didn't mention this before, and avoid the crazy chicken. You probably realize that you can interrupt your character in mid-step by simply clicking the left mouse button with the hex cursor on a new spot. This will make your character immediately move towards the new location. Now, if you repeatedly interrupt your character during a walk, you will do something similar to the crazy chicken. It's childish. Don't do it. We beg you. And... Ooh. Wait, what is this? Survival recipes? Huh? Mushroom clouds? Desert salad? I didn't know that they had 2 cooking recipes in the back. Yeah, honestly, I'm 100% tempted to cook these in the future if I get a fucking... The if I ever get a camera, I promise you all that I will not only cook these recipes, but it will go at the end of the Fallout 1 playlist. And these are the quick keybinds. Alright, and with that, we finished reading the Vault Dweller's Survival Guide. So, I hope you all join me next week, on those of you on YouTube, for the first episode of my Fallout 1 playthrough. For real this time. Not that really old shitty one. Ta-ta!